Hi and welcome to this week's vlog. A little bit later in the week than I'd like to. I tried to get it done early in the week and it's Friday, so I'm a little bit late on this session. So no kind of hitting data and the kind of science of S&C this week. It's more a bit of another reflection, another kind of interpretation of how I've gone on and more of a personal reflection than a data-driven episode. So yeah, coming to the end of it now, feeling pretty beat up by it. This last couple of weeks has been pretty hard. I think it's a combination of different things. Getting to the point of the year where, from a work point of view, ready to go on holiday, end of the academic year, finishing the PhD, that kind of stuff. Just ready for a bit of a mental break. I think they're starting to have some kind of effects on my capacity to train. And hay fever's just been bad. I don't want to kind of bang on about that, but it's just another thing that detracts away from my capacity to train. So, in terms of how training's been going, it's actually been going pretty well. It's been a mental battle to keep that level of development going through. So, last week I talked about differential RPE and using that to understand the challenges I've been having by using the front squats as part of the program. And I've got to say, since I've done that, I've seen some real significant development. So, I've gone from really kind of grinding 85 kilos, not just in terms of grind, in terms of movement speed, but in terms of just effort. And that was down to breathlessness. It was like I was gassed. I think the bar on my throat, just the different kind of shift of weight where the bar was, I just couldn't breathe. So I was gassed, but I wasn't necessarily kind of mechanically tired. That's definitely been different this week. So I've been using cluster sets this week, so 5 reps, 30-second break, and then typically I've been failing on the 4th rep. And that's been in the kind of 0.3 meters per second category. So that's actually significantly slower than what I was training before. So that's really kind of helped me kind of down regulate kind of my movement speed. I say 95 kilos was not far away from what I was doing for 10 reps at the end of the last phase. That was 100 for 10. Now that wasn't with cluster training, so it's not a like for like comparison. But maybe if I'd have done cluster sets at the beginning of this program, I would have had more kind of clear results. But that's training. You don't know what you don't know. You can't. You don't have a crystal ball. You can't predict everything. I'm just glad that I found that out with 2 weeks to go rather than with no weeks to go. The other thing that's happening is like next week I'm on holiday, so I'm not training next week. I might be physically active, but that's just pretty much as I'm going to get. I'm going on holiday with my 3-year-old daughter and my family, so she's not going to let me kind of sit around and by the beach and do nothing. So I'm going to be busy, but I'm not going to be training, and I think that's going to be a good thing for me. And I suppose I think what I want to reflect on today is that's okay. Bank your training, do the training before you go. But it's okay to have a week off. It's not the end of the world. I think a lot of people get really kind of anxious about having a week off. If they're part of a kind of program, they're trying to get somewhere, they've got a goal, and it's having a week off. I'm okay that I'm not going to get better next week, but actually I might. Because I might just recover. I might just have a week's washout and I come back the week after really kind of ready to rip in and I'm physically refreshed, mentally refreshed and really want to go back into training. And I'll test and actually I might have improved. So it kind of either or is happening. I might get worse and I'll go, well, that's fine. I was on holiday for last week. I can't expect to get better. But that week might do me some good and I'll come back and kind of really rip in and progress. So that's kind of a mental battle now, but yeah, definitely ready for a break off from life, really. Just to kind of get away, have a holiday, let the body recover, let the brain recover, and then come back in after a week's time to get a new phase of training. So what I'm going to look at next week is probably going back-to-back squats, looking at good old-fashioned high-low model by Charlie Francis, for those people who are familiar with it. That would be a high-intensity day and then a lower-intensity day. So you go high, low, high, low, high, low. So everything being so far has been around about that kind of 60 to 70% 1RM kind of range, that kind of 10 reps, and using the DeLong Watkins method. So I'm going to kind of move away from that into higher reps, but I'm not going to go sillies into 3s and 2s and 1s. That's, as I mentioned a few weeks ago, that's for closer to next April when I'm hopefully going to hit my numbers. So this week is probably going to be moving to more 5s and 6s. So day 5s, day 10s, day 5s and day 10s. So just trying to hit that kind of high intensity, low intensity, high intensity, low intensity, and then kind of manipulate the volume accordingly. So it might be 3 5s, 3 10s, 3 5s, 3 10s. And again, it won't all be 3 5s at max load. It might be something like 60, 80, 100% of 5 RM, something like that. I haven't kind of written out the precise program yet, but that's kind of where I'm going to be looking at. And again, I think I really like the idea is you're only hitting one hard set per session, so you're still banking the volume, but you're not banking the kind of the fatigue, the mental drain of hitting 5 hard sets or 3 hard sets per session. And I've got to say that the results have borne out from that. I have progressed. Would I progress more if I did something else? Maybe. Would I have burnt out and got more injuries if I'd done more demanding training? I'm pretty convinced that I would have done. At 42, I'm almost convinced that if I tried to do 3 hard sets per session, I would have burnt up something before now. Some tendons would have gone, some muscle would have gone, my kind of hormones would have let me down. Like everything would have kind of burnt up before now. So I think I'm okay with that. So that's just kind of some general reflections, really, nothing great. Just kind of feeling the effects of a hard training block, end of a mentally draining end of the academic year. Kind of trying to do the marking and the PhD all at the same time. That was kind of pretty intense. So yeah, probably need to have a bit of downtime now, let the body and brain recover, and then in a week 10 days time, come back and really rip in and start my new phase of training with lots of enthusiasm and lots of energy. So that's where I am. Hopefully that's been of interest to anybody, and I'll speak to you all soon.